Congratulations, man!
Thanks!
Holy crap, you won!
I did.
What a big maker, man! Whoa!
Hier de mechanieker. Hier de mechanieker.
Ah, this is the mechanic driving in the follow car.
I don't have to work today because everything is good arranged.
Oh, that's perfect. What if somebody has a flat tire?
Then I sprint out of the car and give him the good wheel.
That's exactly what's gonna happen.
Good luck today.
What's up, guys? What's up, cycling fanatics? Today we are in Utrecht for a very big race. This is the Ronde van Midden Nederland, which is the final race of the Holland Cup. UCI 1.2 race. We, with the Volharding, our club team, is joining this race as one of only 3 club teams. The rest of the 25 teams are all national and international pros, so it's gonna be a pretty strong field today. It's gonna be 200 kilometers racing over some hills, so there are gonna be some sprint points uphill, which I'm not gonna go for. Most of the times this race will end up in a field sprint. I don't know. 200 kilometers is a long way. First of all, I hope that I'm gonna be able to finish the 200k and be there at the end of the race. And then second, it's gonna be a matter to try to be in a good position to actually pull off a sprint. So, I don't know, biggest race of the year probably. Like I said, it's gonna be all pros today. Looking around here, there's all these pro teams with these big vans, fancy bikes, everything. We're just chilling with our club team and we're gonna do the best we can. Preps are going on. The chairman of the club is taking care of our bottles. How cool is that? Right now we're still doing a race for these little young kids. Racing here on the finishing street of our race later today. Apparently we're gonna come downhill a little bridge over there, and then this is all gonna be a long straightaway to the finish, which is gonna be right there. We've got live streams on YouTube and RTV Nederland. That's pretty cool. I actually just realized I never really introduced you guys to my teammates who I've been racing most of the races with this year. So here we go. Yeah. Thomas, what's up? This is Dan.
Yo, man.
Yo. Okko.
Yo.
What up? Niels. Here we go. Sleeping Jordi.
Kijk deze, hè?
Yes. Last but not least, it's Martin. What up? Alright guys, these are the teammates. We're gonna rock today. Good luck to everybody.
Piramide. Daarna krijgen we op de Kaapse Bossen krijgen we natuurlijk een bergsprintje, de Amerongse berg. En dan wordt het interessant als we de Amerongse berg afgaan naar beneden.
Podium. Right here, getting ready with flowers. Kijk, strak in pak. So we are going to the podium for a picture.
Welk nummer heb ik, Jasper?
Jij hebt nummer 206. We've got the fans! Yeah! What up? Hoe gaat het?
Goed. Nou, omstandigheden hè.
Right. Doing the final preparations, getting some food in the pockets, changing from hat to helmet. We've got about 20 some minutes to the start, and it's going to be a 6 kilometer neutralization. So I'm going to leave the camera in the car and go to the start of the race. Alright, this is the start of the race. A pretty big peloton, 23 teams actually, so it was about 200 racers here on the Ronde van Midden Nederland on this day. And we've got guys from Belgium, Norway, we've got England, we've got Netherlands, of course, the big teams from the Netherlands. So Spain, I think guys from Spain. So it was an international pro peloton, and we are racing with our club team in between all the pros. So right now it's still neutralized, and as usual you can see all the data in the screen, so you can follow me on the map on the top right, and then in the left top you'll see the distance into the race, the time. In the bottom you'll see the speed, cadence, my heartbeat, and of course the power. Now right here it's squeezing in between these mid-berms sometimes. We're still in the neutralized zone, so the average speed was only about 30 kilometers an hour. But right here we'll get released, and that's really when the speed goes up. In the front of the peloton, guys are attacking straight away, so you'll see the speed go up to about 50 to 60 kilometers an hour, really fast. So the first about an hour of the race, the average speed was 49 kilometers an hour, so that's really fast. And that's because the whole peloton was together. We had a slight tailwind, and there was very wide roads. So super high speed, but when you're inside the peloton, in the belly of the peloton, it's actually not that hard to stay and to hold these speeds. Right here you can see we're passing Soesterberg, which is actually very close to my old house. And these areas right here, I used to train here. But then I was riding on the bike lane and not in the middle of the main road. So this was really cool to be riding here on these main roads and going so fast over these roads, which I normally just take the bike lane. You can see how stretched out the field is right now. So some parts, when there would be a couple turns and the speed was very high, the field was just totally stretched out. And there's 200 riders, so you can imagine if every rider takes up, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 meters, how long this field is going to be. So if you're in the back, I'm quite far to the back right now, you're actually very far away from the first rider. And it takes a lot of power to get back with the peloton. But then right now we're in the peloton again, and it's all chill. And you don't need to pedal that much, because you're just drafting, and there's so much suction coming from the group that I was using, my average power was maybe 180 to 190 watts to keep the speed of about 48 kilometers an hour. Right here, Jasper Volzak, he's coming to me. He's like, "Hey man, congratulations with the baby, and I'm following you since we raced in the Nocturne in Copenhagen last year." And it's pretty cool. He's from Denmark, and he knows my channel, so that's really cool that even in the pro peloton guys are watching my videos. So I really like when these guys come over and say hi, even during the race. So this is the first climb of the race. There's actually a couple climbs. We're going over the Utrechtse Heuvelrug, which is a hilly part of the center of Holland. And it's not mountains, but it's just little hills. And normally I would be riding on the bike lane here with about 20k an hour, and now we're just boosting up in the peloton with 40k an hour, and well, it goes up, so you still need to push hard yourself. You can see I'm pushing 5, 6, close to 700 watts to keep up with the peloton. So that's actually a lot, and imagine how much power the guys in the front are pushing. So for me it was very important to be in the peloton, and preferably in the front of the field, hitting these climbs, because I know climbing is not my best part, especially when you're riding with a pro peloton like this. These riders are super fit, and if I would be in the back and if I would not be able to hold the wheel, not getting all the draft that I like to, then I would get dropped instantly. So every time I knew there was a climb coming up, I tried to be a little bit up to the front of the peloton. Right now we're going slightly downhill again, very nice area again, super fast, and at this point of the race it was all still pretty chill. And check this out guys, I've got an addition to the channel. I've got a rear viewing camera right now, so I've recorded on 2 cameras, and the rear actually stayed on during the whole race. So if you want to see all the other footage, you're gonna click in the description to my full race video, where I have 4.5 hours of race footage of this race. The complete race from beginning to start is on that camera. So right now we're turning to the left, up to the next climb. This is going to be the Ruiterberg, which is a nice climb on a very narrow road, as you can see right here. And again, I'm pushing out 500, 600, 700 watts to keep up with these guys. Of course, there's a couple guys who are better in climbing than me. When it's flat, I'm pretty okay, but when it goes up, these guys are just a little bit faster. So I'm making sure that I'm staying behind somebody so I can draft a little bit, even when we're going up, because we're still doing about 30 kilometers an hour, so you still have a lot of advantage when you're drafting behind somebody else. And like now, I'm drafting behind a lot of people, so it saves me energy. Now these climbs are actually for points, so the guy that crosses the line on top of the hill will get points. That was the finish, by the way. And you can go for a climbing GC. Now the Holland Cup, which is this race is part of the Holland Cup. Of course, there's like a climbing leader and everything. Well, we don't race all the races with our team, so we didn't even think about doing anything with these climbs. Looking back again, this is slightly downhill. As you can see, I'm not even pedaling, and we're doing over 60 kilometers an hour. The guy right behind me, Flossman rider, he's tucked in, just drafting and going fast enough to keep up. And again, a super nice area that we're riding in here. And right here we have the first crash. I was behind it. I could zigzag around bikes, riders, goggles and glasses. And really unfortunate. There was actually a guy from my team who was involved, and I saw him later in the race, so he got up, luckily without too much of a scratch. But it's always unfortunate when guys crash. And we were behind it, so we had to push a little bit harder to get back up to speed and to get back into the race. Right here we're turning left. Again, we are going to the bottom of the Amerongse Berg, which is going to be another climb for points. And every time these climbs are coming up, the race was going a little bit faster because people are positioning to be in front. Big teams want to have their riders up to the front and their climbers ready to sprint up the hill to get these points for the GC. So everybody starts riding faster. So right here it's a sort of a little battle for position going towards this bottom of the climb. But not to worry, I'm just staying in the peloton, so it's all okay. So here we are on the climb. Again, you can see the power is going up, and we're doing 28 kilometers an hour uphill. So that's a decent speed. Over the top, going downhill again. Just cruising 66, close to 70 kilometers an hour. Going really fast, and we're gonna hit a small town, Amerongen, and then we'll take a left back on the main road. Sketchy moments here with these speed bumps and the poles in the middle, and then on the roundabout left, and we're back on the main road, and the peloton will get back together. So it takes a little while, and then the peloton is back together, like you see right here. Very widespread field across the road, and I saw a couple guys going for a pee break, and I really had to go. So right here I stop on the side of the road, and I pee really quick, as quick as I can, get back on the bike and make sure I'm back on the road before the last car has passed me, because if you're behind the last car, you're gonna have a big problem. Now there were more riders behind me, so I was still not worried, but sometimes you really gotta go, and when you gotta go, you gotta go. So choose your moment carefully, because when you go peeing in the wrong time, it's really hard to get back into the race. So right here, we're in between the cars. There's a couple other riders, and we'll make our way moving up car by car, and then we'll be back into the race. Back on a very narrow part. After this we'll do a big loop, and we'll do it twice, and there will be a climb in the loop. Right here you see a nasty crash on the left. The sideburns are pretty soft, so I guess somebody went off the road and lost balance, and people crashed. So Another crash that I survived, luckily. I was behind it again, but nothing happened. So like I said, there's gonna be a loop with a nice short steep climb. And on this loop there was a part with a crosswind. People told me beforehand, like, you're gonna go under a little bridge and then it's gonna go hard and there might be some crosswind and it's gonna be stretched out. So I knew when I see this little bridge, I need to prepare for a hard section into the race. Now guys, if you like these videos and if you like me using 2 cameras, let me know in the comments. Alright, so give me a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel because this is the way that you can keep up. There's also a little bell notification that you can press, so you get a little notification when I post a new video, and that way you can keep up to date with all the videos and the races. So right here we go through that little tunnel I was talking about, and there was a lot of bends and turns. Left, right, and this makes the whole peloton to stretch out. Like I said before, 200 riders all single file is going to be a long way to cover when you're behind. So there's never a moment where the whole peloton gets back together. Another turn, another turn. Every time people need to squeeze in, brake and accelerate again. So this is the moment when you're in the back and you have a moment where there's a open area with crosswind. It's gonna get really hard, and that's what's gonna happen right now. So what you see right here is us doing 50-55 kilometers an hour with crosswind. How can you notice? Because everybody's riding on the side of the road behind each other. So the wind is from the left. I'm trying to get as much draft as I can by riding on the side of the road. And you can see everybody is in a single file, all behind each other. So here we're going in the other direction. Wind's coming from the right. Everybody is on the left side of the road. And then somebody lets a gap. And they go to the side, and the gap to the front is too big for me to cover. My heartbeat is up 180 and over, so I'm having a hard time to keep the wheel. And right now I think, okay, I let a couple guys pass and then maybe I can get behind somebody, but they go just a little too fast for me to hang on the last wheel, so I couldn't do that. And then I look behind me, I'm like, damn, there's still a couple riders behind me, but not a lot. This is going too fast for me at the moment to keep up. So I had to choose and let these guys go and go with the group behind me. If I would keep on going to the front right now, I would blow up completely. I'm already way over my threshold with my heart rate. So I'm pushing really hard. I didn't want to get dropped out of the race. Already, we're only 80 kilometers into the race of 200. So I chose to go behind these riders, try to recover, and then start rotating with them to stay in the race. And I already had flashbacks from a couple months ago where we got dropped in this race by a little moment of not paying attention, and there was a break in the field and we never got it back. Well, this is a pro race, so it's a little bit different. The guys that are in the back right now, all these guys are pretty fast. So I wasn't sure what's gonna happen, but we're gonna get back. It's just a matter of time, because in the front, at some point, the speed will go down a little bit and we'll have the time to catch up. So right now it's a matter of staying with this group, do a little bit of work, not too much, and then wait till we're back at the peloton. But right now there's team cars. I'm getting pushed in the gutter, by the way. There's team cars trying to overtake us because their team is in the front and they don't want to hang behind us. Right here we have the climb, the Gebbeberg, a short, steep climb that I was talking about. And again, I'm just trying to draft behind somebody because going up this climb is hard enough. And then right there was a guy from my team who was giving bottles with sports drink. And I didn't want to grab the bottle at that time because I still have one full bottle. And I figured I'm gonna pass this point again, then I'll grab a bottle. But at the end there was a mistake, because further up the race I ended up having nothing, and I had to go back to the car. But I'll show you that a little bit later. So right now we're still trying to close that gap. We're on this loop that we're gonna do twice, and we had to work a long time and hard to get back to the peloton, but we finally made it happen. It was about 30 minutes later, so we spent 30 minutes going hard before we got back to the peloton. And yes, this takes a lot of energy. Going in this little group, trying to close the gap back to the peloton took more energy, way more energy than if I was gonna be just in the peloton cruising behind a big group. So it was a little bit mental. I was like, damn, I just spent so much energy trying to get back, and the 200k is gonna be long enough already. So it's I wasn't sure if I was gonna be okay with energy levels up to the end of the race. So now we're doing the same loop as we got dropped before, but now everybody's just going really chill. Everybody's together, and we're drafting behind the peloton, so we're all okay. Sharp turn here, so we're going pretty slow, and I'm in the last wheel. So right now you see behind me, you can see the judges' car, and then the whole row of all the team cars. And again, they're going to pass us. Well, we're still with the peloton, but there's probably a breakaway of some riders. And here we are back at the second loop, back on the climb. And now you can see a big difference because we're in a peloton. And the time before we were in a small group, I was just drafting behind one guy. And now I'm just staying in the peloton again, pushing out 500 watts to keep up with the group. And I'm trying to conserve as much energy I can. And right now I really needed another bottle with some sports drink, but I realized too late that our guys were on the right side of the road handing out bottles, and I was totally on the left, so I couldn't get one, and I ended up without any drinks later in the race. Right here you just see some left-right movements. I know this area quite well, so I actually always ride on the bike lane here normally. But right now, again, like I said before, we're going over the main road. These little curbs right here are pretty dangerous. I mean, we're going super fast. And right here actually was another moment where we took the other side of this curb, and then it ends up in a whole row of little poles sticking out of the ground. If you hit one of those, you're gonna flip. But anyway, people are getting nervous again. What you see here is guys riding for position. Because right now we're coming up to a very important part of the race, which is gonna be the Rijndijk and the Lekdijk. So two dikes with the crosswind, because the wind was from the south this day and these dikes were east to the west. So everybody knows on this dike it's gonna break up and you need to be in the front. So right here it was a race. It was a race through this little village right now, over these cobbles road, and everybody wanted to be up there in the front. This guy is almost crashing on the curb right here. He actually had a flat and that made him crash right there. So guys are flipping over the bars and I'm pushing full gas to stay in the wheel of this guy in front of me. We're doing 55 kilometers an hour on this dike into the wind. So there's a big crosswind here from the left. Super important to get a good position. If you stay riding like this, what I'm doing right now, you're pushing out the same effort as the first guy in the field. However, he is in an echelon, so he's gonna rotate with other riders and you are not. So that's why you're gonna get dropped if you're in the back. So it's very important to move up to the front. So what I'm doing right now, there's a couple guys going to the left side of the road, making room for us to draft behind them. So I'm instantly going in their wheel, trying to move up to the front of the race. And right here again, going on the left. However, the wind is coming from the left, so I'm in the wind right now, but it's improving my position. So I'm sacrificing a little bit of energy to get back to the front where I want to be. Because when you're in the front, you can rotate in an echelon. Right here, I'm getting into the echelon. And that's actually when you're conserving energy. You might think, yeah, you're doing work, you're pulling in the front, so you're actually spending more energy, but everybody behind you has less drag from the guy in front of him. So it's actually the best place to be is in the echelon. And right here you can see how the rotation is going. Behind me, it's always a matter of, it's always a battle for position. So guys are pushing and trying to get into that little spot where they want to be. So here I get a little bit more back and I'm nicely drafting behind more riders, and you can see the power is a lot lower. So it's a short little bit of recovery before we hit another open section, and again, riding behind one guy will make you spend a lot of energy. Alright, so this was the Rijndijk. We're now going to move over to the Lekdijk. Pretty much the same thing. Looking behind me in the rear view cam right now, you can see all these guys are pushing and moving left and right for position. And it's never a dull moment. You have to pay attention the whole time. You have to move to the left, to the right, forwards, backwards. It's a thing of constant rotation and constant movement. It never stays the same for a long time. So right here again, I'm trying to move up a little bit. I am actually on the upside of the wind, so I'm on the least protected side because the wind is coming from the left, so rear view it will be from the right. And the guys that are on the right side of the road are actually in the draft of the guys in front of them. Right here you can see very clearly the guy behind me is trying to stay to the side of the road as much as he can to draft and to have advantage of me riding in front of him. But I'm doing the same thing to the guy before in front of me. So what happens, everybody is in the gutter. Everybody is on that last little inch of the street. I see a chance to move up, so straight away I go around these guys to move up to the front. Like I said before, sometimes you have to sacrifice a little bit of energy to get back to the front, improve your position. Anyway, I survived this part, which was very good, but it's not over yet. We're still pushing hard. We're still in the gutter. We're still single file in the crosswind doing 50 kilometers an hour. And it's going on for a long time now. Right now we're already doing like 45 minutes of fast riding and crosswind, echelons, in the gutter. Like, it's super tiring. This was a very short part where my heart rate was down, but as you can see right here, I'm trying to hold the wheel of the guy in front of me again. Heartbeat is up 185, that's above my threshold. I'm doing 50k an hour, pushing, boom, 800 watts to stay in the wheel of the guy in front of me. This is no joke. This is such a big difference from the beginning of the race where we were riding in a peloton. Racing in a peloton 50k an hour is easy. You can drive behind 50 riders in front of you. Racing in a crosswind with 50k an hour, that's when it gets hard. Right now, going back into Utrecht. So we're going back into the big city. We have about 30 kilometers left in this race. And there was going to be a loop in the city that we're gonna do twice. I needed more drinks, like I said before, so I fell back towards the team cars, and you can see me right now getting some bottles from the team car. Our team car was the last car in the row, so it takes a long time until the car passes all the other cars, gets to the front of the row, and then you fall back to the car, you grab bottles, and then you need to go back into the race, back into the peloton. So this takes, for me, it takes a lot of energy. Right here, I'm pushing hard and I'm back into the last wheel. Into the last wheel of the race. If I'm dropping out right now, I'm going to be out of the race. So as you can see right now, heartbeat 188, 189, I'm dying. It went on a little bit too long for me, and I just don't have any more energy to keep up the wheel, so I have to let it go. I have to let this last rider go, and instantly the jury car and other cars are starting to overtake me. So I know it's only 20k to the finish, so it's not far. So I'm just doing everything that I have. I'm pushing out all I got. So I'm trying to stay behind these team cars. One car, then the other car, then the other car, then the other car, and every time when I can overtake a team car, I try to move up, trying to get back into the race, trying to get back into the peloton. But it's a last part of the race. The last 25k is the fastest part of the race. The guys in the peloton are doing 50 kilometers an hour, trying to position and trying to win this race. So to be solo and chase that, it's nearly impossible. So what you can see here is just me being dead behind other cars, trying to finish the race. When I can, I move up and when I can, I drive behind the other cars. Now, some of these drivers would accelerate slowly so you can stay behind them, but others would just hit the gas and they accelerate way too hard, so you can't drive behind them, and that's really when you have nothing. Right here is the team car of Delta Cycling, and Jim is driving in the car. Jim used to train me for a couple months this winter. The first question he asks is, "Hey, are you a dad yet?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, 8 weeks into the baby right now." And he's like, "Okay, that's why you are getting dropped right now." I'm like, "Yeah, that's it." So anyway, right here I'm passing start finish. And like I said, we're doing another lap, so it's another about 10 kilometers, and I'm solo the whole time, in between the cars. Every time I try to overtake these cars when I can to stay in the race, because when I get behind the last car, that's when the broom wagon is gonna be there, and when he passes you, you're out of the race. Another last call from our team car yelling at me that I'm doing a good job and I need to keep it up so I can finish the race, because the last 10K, usually with these big races, they would not take you out of the race and they will let you finish. So I'm working hard, I'm doing my best to go as fast as I can. And then right here it's the judges' car, and they actually tell me if I keep going like this, they're gonna bring me in, I can finish the race. So that's very nice of them. It's such a pity when you've been racing for 4 hours and then you cannot finish the race. So I was happy to hear that they would let me finish. So right here I'm coming close to the finish. Check out all these police officers closing down the road. I was waving at them, giving them a little thank you for waiting at me, because I was the last guy here today. Now guys, I've put a lot of effort and time in this video, so let me know in the comment section if you like me using 2 cameras, and don't forget to give me a like and subscribe to the channel before you leave. And here I'm approaching the finish. Of course, the whole race is already passed, so who cares? This guy is coming in super late. Well, it actually was only a couple minutes after the winner, but I finished the race and I'm completely dead. And there was Jasper, the guy who was talking to me during the beginning of the race, and he actually won the race. So how cool is that? Congratulations to you, dude. And just watch the rest of the video, because I'm gonna tell you what's coming up next. Totally fucked up. Dude, this is really fucking hard. First of all, the level is high. You can really notice this is a pro race. I'm dead.
De zaken zijn ontkurkt, de flessen zijn leeg, het feesten voor deze mannen kan eraan beginnen.
Dude! Congratulations, man!
Thanks.
Holy crap, you won!
I did.
What a big maker, man! Whoa! Winner! Awesome!
It was good, yeah.
Dude, during...
I hope we could get in the break together, like in Copenhagen.
I was totally fucked up.
Yeah.
Coming into Utrecht here after the leg dike, I was in the front of the peloton, still doing okay. And then just coming into the Utrecht, it was crosswind again in the gutter and I blew up.
Yeah. I mean, fair when you just got a little baby.
Exactly.
I think it's fair enough that you didn't get maybe as much training as I did. I've just been in altitude training camp in Livigno,
really?
Yeah, in the summer, so maybe a little bit better preparation.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We actually rode the Ronde van Midden last year. During the race, he comes to me, he's like, "Hey man, congratulations on the baby." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, we were racing in the Nocturne last year." I'm like, "All right, awesome!"
Yeah,
and then he wins the race solo. Dude, again,
yeah.
Congratulations. I hope to race you again next year, maybe.
Yeah, of course. And
I hope I'll be in a better
races.
form.
I like these races.
Yeah, it was hard.
Yes.
Okay, dank u wel. Oh, tangetje. My transponder was dead, so I had a little loner today. Dude, I'm so tired.
Jasper.
Painful. Hey, Flavio! Look at this! Hey, hoe is het? Heb je iets van mij meegekregen? Ik zat helemaal achteraan.
Nee, ik heb de regie nog op mijn oortjes, ik hoor nog allemaal gelul, maar ik ben goed in multitasken. Maar we hadden jou natuurlijk graag in de show gehad, maar ja, je kan maar op één plek tegelijk zijn. En jij was vandaag in koers, maar dat leek me een goeie.
Ik heb mijn best gedaan. Maar de laatste 8 weken heb ik ook heel veel 's nachts wakker gelegen met een kleine baby erbij. Dus
ja, precies.
Ik heb de vorm niet meer die ik dacht te hebben. Dus het was eventjes te veel, eventjes te hard voor mij.
Dus je wordt voorlopig nog geen prof.
Nou ja, het zou wel leuk zijn om een keer even een klein stukje mee te doen met het profteam. Wie weet.
Ja, maar als ik piloot zou zijn zoals jij, dan zou ik het ook niet doen.
Nee, ja. Hey man.
Hey Jasper.
Hey. Bedankt hè.
Een paar keer achter de auto gehad hè?
Ja, ik heb het best gedaan.
Hey, maar ben je er weer bij?
Driving back home from the race. Mixed feelings today. You know, I was hoping to be in a good shape. Maybe that was a little bit too optimistic because I have not been sleeping very well for the last 8 weeks. Obviously, dude, getting a baby is really hard work. The quality of my sleep has been at its lowest since ever. I have not been training these long hours anymore. There was a very important part of the race halfway, the leg dike, which is a dike with the big crosswind, and I was right where I needed to be. I was in the front, rotating in the echelon. I spoke to other guys, they were like, yeah, you were right up there, good job. But it just took a little bit too long, and after that I blew up, couldn't keep the wheels. It was a full pro field. All these guys are training twice as much as I am. So, mixed feelings. I really wanted to do better, but I still finished the race. I will stop complaining right now. Guys, next weekend is the Ronde van Midden. If you've been watching my channel for at least 1 year, you know last year I won the Ronde van Midden, which is the race, the criterium in my hometown. So I'm gonna defend my title. A little side note, last year it was the amateur category, this year is the elite category, so a little bit different, but anyway, I'm gonna do whatever I have, whatever I can to get the first place again. So stay tuned, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'm gonna see you next time. See ya!